Okay, so let's go for the demo employee. We have seen that we have just three columns, employee ID, employee email ID, and the corresponding salary. I can see that every row is going to be unique, right? We talk about either employee ID or email ID of two persons, it cannot be same, or employee ID of two persons, it cannot be same. So both employee ID and email ID, they can be considered as a primary key, but in the real life database scenario, there's a greater likelihood that employee ID is going to be your primary key because it is supposed to be a foreign key for some other table, right? So in this case, employee ID can be a good candidate for like primary key. Again, not to say employee email ID cannot be. It can be, but in some cases, you can have some scenario where email ID is going to be null. You don't have the email ID information for that particular person, right? So even though email ID is supposed to be unique, that null condition, that the column, the primary key cannot have null values, that is possible that it is not going to be satisfied. Okay, that condition is not going to be satisfied. So in most likelihood, sorry, email ID will be considered as the primary key and it won't be null. Okay, salary, obviously it cannot be primary key. Talking about the attendance table, we have working date, employee ID, and work hours. We can have employee ID working on different dates. Again, so this employee ID will be repeated, cannot be a primary key. Work hours, never, it cannot be, it can never be a primary key. A working date, again, it cannot be a primary key because again, you can have multiple date entries for multiple employees for the same date. Talking about the joining details column. Okay, so we have joining date, employee ID, and joining salary. Think of this value, the employee table, the salary in this table. This salary is the current salary, okay? And from the joining details, this is the joining salary. So it's possible that the person's current salary is different from the joining salary. It might have increased or decreased, or it might be the same, okay? On a given date, there could be multiple guys who joined on the same date. So if you'll see on date 21 January 2022, there were two guys who joined. On 22, again two guys. On 23, four guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 guys for this sample database in our table, joining on 1, 2, 3, 3 different dates, and there is some joining salary information as well. Okay, coming to the first question. Uh, Again, you don't have the question information as well, so let me just go the basic join assignment. Cool. Now, what is the first question? And again, I don't have to repeat that. The working date, the date format is going to be YYMMDD, and it won't be anything else in the database because that is going to create problem while you are doing the sorting thing, right? So it always has to start the year first, the month, and date first. Now, let me give you an example why it has to be that way. Suppose if I'm keeping at DD MM YY, तो एक इंफॉर्मेशन मेरे पास हो सकती है 21/01/2022, okay, and I can have 22/11/2021. Okay, if this is the format of the date, if I'm going to sort, I should expect this date, this 21 date, to come before the 2022 date. Okay, but if I'm going to do a sorting, and this is in many cases, if it's not date, it's going to be a string, it will be sorted this 22 first and then 2021 second. Okay, and that is going to be a wrong sorting, a wrong ordering, just because of the format of the date. And if I'm going to solve it like 2021 11 22, and just give me a second, and the second one is going to be 2022 01 21, that problem won't be there because the first thing it is going to check if the year comes first, and then only the month is going to be checked, and then the date. And in this particular example, just by year, we are going to get the correct sorting order. So keep in mind the date format in most of the database. Like in some cases, it's going to be an error, like some Excel kind of data table. In that case, you will see dates like this, but in databases, you will be seeing YY and DD format. So hope that is clear. Okay, and that is the reason I mentioned कि यार जो तुम्हारा डेट का फॉर्मेट है YY MM and DD. ठीक है. One more note: if a given employee is absent on a given date, there won't be any record of that person in the attendance table. So the attendance table is only recording those guys who were present on that day. Whether they worked for 1 hour, whether they worked for 20 minutes, or maybe they worked for 24 hours. Doesn't matter. Their entry will be there with their corresponding in and out data, and from that in and out data I can calculate the number of hours they worked in that company on that particular date. Okay. So the first question is clear to everyone. For each table, find out the column which can potentially be a primary key. So I can see that in the attendance, working date, employee ID, work hour, no, none of these guys can be primary key. For the employee, again employee ID can be primary key, and the demo joining details, again I don't think anyone can be a primary key. So joining date, employee ID, joining salary, I think employee ID can be a primary key because every row is going to be unique, okay, in terms of just this column employee ID. So employee ID can be a primary key here. Okay, coming to the second problem, write the query to find the employee ID, email, salary of those
Hello.
employees. Yeah, anyone saying
I
something?
have a question regarding it.
Yeah, बोलो यार.
So, what is a composite primary key then? So, for the
In which case,
table,
in which table you're talking about?
for the table attendance, if there can be composite primary key.
In the table attendance, working date, employee ID, working date, employee ID. Okay, I guess working date concatenated with employee ID can be a primary key because every employee ID is going to be associated with a working date. So neither working date nor employee ID, like in a standalone scenario, can be a primary key. But if I'm going to combine those two guys, it can be a composite key. And most of the cases, like you will be facing this question of composite key only in the interview, but in like real world scenario, you will be knowing beforehand what to join and what not to join. So if that is the question, if we want a composite key that can be unique, so working date associated with the employee ID is going to be a primary key. I hope that is something you have answered in your answer as well, right? Is that so?
All right.
Okay. Because any given employee
All right.
and any
I'm
given
asking.
date, it is not going to be repeated. So 25 January 2022 employee ID came. Okay. Now this 25 January 2022 with this employee ID entry is not going to be repeated. If this E001 is coming again in this table, it has to be a different date, right? A person's recorded
Right.
working hours won't be recorded multiple times. So you can assume that E001, if it is this guy is coming again, the next day he's coming on 28th. Okay, so the date has to be different. You cannot have again 25/1/2022 here with E001. So employee ID plus working date can be a composite key here. Okay, does this answer your question here?
Okay, thanks.
Cool, cool. Okay, the second problem is write the query to find the employee ID, email, salary of those employees who worked for less than 6 hours on 25th Jan 2022. Okay, who is going to answer this? And this is the whole game here. Even though you have submitted the assignment or not submitted the assignment, there should be a good opportunity to tell me what will work and what won't work. Okay, so I'll go with maybe Varun. Any help? Varun, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
हाँ भाई,
Uh,
बताओ.
um,
पहले
yes,
मेरे को
so
लॉजिक,
in this,
first logic, forget about the query. First logic,
mm,
and then we'll talk about the query. Maybe I'll talk about the query from someone else if you have given the right logic. Okay, so you don't have to do the whole work here. Okay, tell me.
uh, uh, तो इसमें हम ईमेल आईडी और वो सिलेक्ट कर लेंगे.
Okay, ठीक है, select लगा दिया अपन ने. Select the field, find employee ID, email and salary of those employee. ठीक है. Next.
फिर हम जैसे कि दोनों टेबल है तो
Okay,
इसमें
let me
हम
tell you how you have to structure your answer. First of all, you have to tell those two tables which will be joined. Okay, Again, you have to tell me the kind of join you'll be doing, okay, so that you need that you have the data that you need, okay. Maybe tell about the join clause on condition, and if there is some filtering to be done, tell me that as well. So you have to tell me in plain English, not select
Okay.
this and that. तू मेरे को बता कि कौन सा टेबल ज्वाइन होगा, किस लॉजिक पे ज्वाइन होगा, किस कॉलम पे ज्वाइन होगा, क्या कंडीशंस होगी, एंड दैट इज फाइन. ओके, गो अहेड.
So uh, from table one, that is that
We have two tables.
uh,
Keep in mind
yes,
attendance and
yes,
employee, so you don't have to
yes,
go
attendance table and the other table,
employee table.
which
Yeah,
is
focus,
employee table.
focus. There's just two
So
words to remember. Okay.
okay, yes, yes. We can join left join attendance table to the other table,
Left
employee table.
join attendance table to the other table. Okay,
Yes.
employee table. Okay.
Then we can match employee ID to other employee ID column,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can apply where condition,
Okay.
filtering of where, by
Okay.
where the employees who have worked less than 6 hours,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And this where
and
filtering will be done on which column from what table?
uh, from
You're
from
almost there. You're
column.
almost there. Just focus. You're almost there. You have if that helps, I can go up and show you कि
Yes.
कौन से टेबल में कौन से वैल्यूज है. So attendance में
हाँ.
date, employee ID, work hour है. Employee ID में employee ID, email ID,
From
salary.
attendance table where
From
work hours
attendance.
are given.
Okay. where work hours पे filter लगाएंगे then.
So where work hours are less than 6,
Uh-huh.
and we can put date, applying end
Okay.
date, which is
Date
asked.
is equal to चल ठीक है ठीक है. निखिल,
Yes.
was that your question
General.
यार? ये question नहीं हुआ था ना निखिल?
Yes, I thought that the specific values, so how can I apply?
ठीक है, तो अभी निखिल तू मेरे को जो भी इस बंदे ने बोला, कैन यू जस्ट कोलेट एवरीथिंग एंड टेल मी द फाइनल लॉजिक एंड द फाइनल क्वेरी.
Okay, so
I can go to SQL
from
Workbench if that helps, and I'll be showing you guys whatever table you will be needing. So you have this attendance table here, and you have this employee table here. You can tell me the solution, and I'll be writing it here only. बता. Or
okay,
maybe
from
wait,
employee table,
तू बताओ, मैं यहाँ पे लिखता हूँ. ठीक है, बता. Start with
from
select.
employee,
From चलो, maybe I'll start with from employee.
from employee T1,
T1, okay.
join attendance,
Tell me what kind of join you're talking about. Inner join, left join, right join,
inner
outer
join,
join.
inner join.
Inner join.
Any join can be applied here. Inner join or left join can be applied.
We'll talk about it, but yeah, go ahead. अभी मैं नहीं बताऊंगा कि
Inner
कोई
join
भी join.
attendance T2,
Inner join attendance
T2
T2
on
on
T1,
T1
T1 dot employee ID is equal to
employee ID is equal to T2 dot
employee ID.
employee ID. Okay.
So where
Where
I think T2 dot
T2. Very good यार. मतलब मैं यही चाहता हूँ कि मैं मुझे बार बार ऊपर ना जाना पड़े. You have to have that thing in mind कि attendance में क्या वैल्यू थी and employee में क्या वैल्यू थी, and this is a very short term memory requirement, right? So go ahead. Where T2 dot
work hours
working hours, ठीक है,
less than 6
less than 6,
and
and
date is equal to 25th Jan.
बता कौन सा टेबल का डेट. T1 का डेट, T2 का डेट.
T2 का
T2 dot
T2 dot date is equal to 25th Jan.
25th Jan. So I'll just write here 25th Jan. अभी मैं इसका वैल्यू लिखूंगा exactly. Okay. And what we have to select here?
I think
Employee ID, email, and salary. Okay. I hope my like Acrobat is also visible, right? My PDF is also visible, right?
right.
So select.
So select from the
Make sure you are writing the table name correctly.
T1
T1 से उठाना है.
T1 dot employee ID,
T1 dot employee ID.
T1 dot email ID,
T1 dot email ID.
email ID, and T1 dot salary.
T1 dot salary. Okay. employee ID, email ID and salary is पे ठीक है. Let me just copy paste and go to my SQL workbench. Okay, there is one issue here, okay, and that is about the type of join. I'm not talking about the date की value क्या है. Date की value मेरे को लिखनी है तो exactly मैं क्या लिखूँगा? 25 Jan कैसे लिखूँगा यार मैं? 2022 Jan and 25th. Always keep in mind the data format that you have. Okay, so it's year, month and date. Okay, so 25th Jan 2022, and instead of inner join, again the question is find me the email of all guys who have worked for less than 6 hours on 25th Jan 2022. Now I can have, let's say, 10 guys who are meeting this condition, working on less than 6 and working on a given date. Okay, what if
If we need the employee, if we need the emails of all employees, then we can join the left join.
left join,
Or
but
if
it, right, so just keep in mind ki inner join is only going to give me which is present in both tables. Now here I am relying on the fact that my employee table, it has all the information. Okay, if that is the assumption and that is indeed correct, then inner join is also going to work. But to be on the safer side, whenever you are writing a query, then make sure that your query is going to encompass even the edge cases, right? So in some cases, if suppose by some error, okay, employee ID and the corresponding email is missing, so you have 10 employees in your company and only 8 or 9 guys records are there in the employee table. In that case, your inner join might be missing out on 1 or 2 guys. Can you see that happening here?
I think, but the question has asked whatever the employee who has worked less than 6 hours.
Uh-huh.
So in the attendance table, we have only have the employees who have worked.
नहीं, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल
Right.
let's say this is the attendance table, right? This is the attendance table. Okay, so on 25th Jan, 1 2 3 is there. Okay, so just keep in mind 25th pay we have E001, E002 and E003. Okay, what if the record for E003 is not present in the employee table? Okay, so in that case I should be returning null, right? Okay, so again for less than 6 I'm talking about, so I just have 2 guys, 4 and 5, because this is 6, right? So keep in mind for these two conditions there are only 2 guys meeting the condition, that is E001 and E002 working on 25th and less than 6, so 4 and 5. What if the entry for this guy E002 is not in the employee table? Okay, so in that case, although in our table it is there, so that's why your inner join and left join is going to give the same result. But in some cases if that record is missing, so technically you should be returning what? E001 and its email ID, E002 and null, because E002 is not there in the employee, but in our case it is there, so it is going to be fine whether inner join or left join. Are you seeing the difference here? Yeah? I'm not saying your answer is incorrect, but again, I'm just saying that uh,
Yes.
that left join is going to encompass everything, even there are some missing values in the employee table. Okay,
Right.
right? And in the interview, if you are making this assumption ना, तुम पहले बता दो उसको कि मेरा assumption ये है भाई कि मेरे पास तुम्हारे जो सेकंड टेबल में एम्प्लॉय टेबल में इट हैज इंफॉर्मेशन फॉर एवरी एम्प्लॉय and the corresponding email that I'm assuming, and then I'm writing this query. Again, no one can say anything because you have clearly stated the assumption for the
Right.
respective query, right? तो वो तेरा सही होगा, कोई कुछ नहीं बोलेगा उसमें. ठीक है? I hope that is making sense. So let's just check if this thing is going to work. I'm just going to give a quick check. T1.employee ID, T1 से मैं email ID उठा रहा हूँ, ठीक है? And T1 से सैलरी उठा रहा हूँ मैं. Employee is my T1, inner join attendance T2, T1 dot employee ID is equal to T2 dot employee ID, and T2 dot work hours. Okay, it's not working hours. Work hours is less than 6, and T2 dot date is this. So this is also working date. Just a quick check. Working date. I hope this is correct यार. किसी को कुछ गलत दिख रहा है तो बताओ मेरे को. T1 से employee ID. कौन है भाई इतना लेट? Wow. Not even going to ask why you're this late. Okay, so let's just see if this is going to work. CP employee does not exist. Okay, Okay, so currently it's CPE. This is demo. Demo.employee, demo.attendance. Hopefully it should work now. Okay, देखो यार क्या था अपने पास employee ID 1 and 2. This is the list that I was looking for. ठीक है, मैं फिर से दिखाता हूँ तुम्हें. If you just do a manual inspection, only 2 guys are there for 25th, okay, with a working hour of less than 6, that is 4 and 5. Just give me a second, someone is on the door. Okay, sorry about that. So again, 001 and 002, these are 2 guys, and that is evident in your solution. 001 and 002, their respective email and their corresponding salary should be fine. Okay, so let's go to the second question. क्या चल रहा है भाई, कौन क्या बोल रहा है? Vibhor, yeah.
Uh, yeah, I just have one simple question.
हाँ हाँ बताओ यार.
Instead of where, if we put where date equal to 25 January 2022, group by employee ID, and putting having clause, having working hour less than 6, is it going to? Is it going here? Well,
If the logic is correct, again, like it's possible that you are going to write a query that is going to give you in the subquery form some extra data, but if the final answer is correct, it is correct. So let me just repeat what you are saying. You are saying that you are going to group for each date. Is
no.
that so?
Instead of putting instead of here where
Like this is a
T2
good
dot
discussion.
work
बताओ
hour.
मेरे को अपना solution बताओ.
हाँ सर, वेयर से मैं बता रहा हूँ. वेयर
हाँ.
डेट इक्वल टू
Where
2022 जनवरी 2000
ठीक है
सेम,
where
मतलब
this
डेट
is a
सेम
date.
रहेगा.
ठीक है आगे बोल.
या ग्रुप बाय एम्प्लॉय आईडी,
Group by employee ID. हाँ.
हैविंग वर्क आवर लेस देन 6.
Having work hour less than 6. एक बार मेरे को लॉजिक बताएगा तू क्या करना चाह रहा है यहाँ पे. Forget about the query. Give me the logic, क्योंकि सब लोग फॉलो कर लेंगे उस तरीके से. लॉजिक बताओ क्या कर रहे हो पहले तुम. What you are
यहाँ
trying to
पे
do.
जैसे दो कंडीशन है. पहला कंडीशन है कि हमारा 25 जनवरी के मतलब 25 जनवरी को जितने भी एम्प्लॉय 6 आवर से कम वर्क किए थे वो चाहिए, और उनमें से उसमें 6 आवर का भी एक क्लॉज है. तो मैंने यहाँ पे एंड की जगह पे हैविंग लगाया, क्योंकि ग्रुप बाय के बाद हम हैविंग लगा के एक कंडीशन को यहाँ पे फुलफिल कर सकते हैं.
तो
तो
ग्रुप
ये मेरा
बाय
लॉजिक. ऊपर का
एम्प्लॉय
बाकी
आईडी,
सारा
सुनो ग्रुप बाय एम्प्लॉय आईडी किया ना तुमने. ओके, तो हैविंग जो है, दैट हैविंग हैज टू बी एन एग्रीगेटेड कॉलम. This is not same as where. Where takes a column that is already present, but having takes an entry or expression that is an aggregated expression. Working hour is not an aggregated expression. Working hour is a column that is given in the data table. तो शायद से सिंटेक्स ही काम नहीं करेगा तुम्हारा. कैन यू सी दैट? समझ में आ रहा है मैं तो क्या बोल रहा हूँ. तूने ग्रुप
राइट.
बाय एम्प्लॉय
हाँ
आईडी
हाँ
लिया
हाँ
ना,
हाँ.
तो वर्क आवर
राइट
इट हैज
राइट.
टू बी सम सॉर्ट ऑफ एग्रीगेटेड कॉलम. वर्क आवर तो सबका अलग अलग दे
ओके.
रखा है ना, तो एग्रीगेट क्या कर रहा है फिर उस पे तू.
हाँ ठीक है.
समझ में
ठीक
आया?
है, क्लियर हो गया.
ठीक है.
हाँ हाँ
तो
आगे.
कोई और किसी को कोई दिक्कत यार, किसी को और कोई पूछने जो लग रहा है कोई और सोल्यूशन काम करेगा.
पीयूष, उसमें जो ये हैविंग वाला है, मतलब
पहले
मैं
नाम बताओ. पहले नाम.
हर्षवर्धन
हाँ
हर्षवर्धन
हाँ.
मैंने देखा है कि समटाइम वी
यार
डोंट नीड.
एक सेकंड आई कैन नॉट हियर यू.
हेलो,
तू किचन में बैठ के बात कर रहा है क्या तू?
किचन में तो नहीं हूँ, दरवाजे.
चलो ठीक है बोलो.
जो हैविंग वाला ही है, जो विभोर ने बताया था, उसमें मेरे हिसाब से अगर अपन ये डालें, क्या कहते हैं, ग्रुप बाय एम्प्लॉय आईडी के जगह
यार
डेट.
इतनी शोर कैसे हो रही है यार. दिस इज नॉट अ कंड्यूसिव एनवायरनमेंट.
हेलो,
हाँ, go ahead.
is it fine now?
Yeah.
In group by we can have, rather than employee ID, we can have date in group by, and
ओके हाँ
the
नहीं
same
नहीं लॉजिक लॉजिक बताओ कि तुम ग्रुप डेट के हिसाब से ग्रुप बाय कर रहे हो
हाँ हमने
कंटिन्यू
डेट के हिसाब से या ग्रुप बाय कर दिया और वो हैविंग वाला क्लॉज जो है वो सेम रहेगा है ना बट इसमें एक एग्रीगेट फंक्शन सेलेक्ट में डालना पड़ेगा काउंट वगैरह कुछ करके आई थिंक दैट विल वर्क
तुम्हारा
क्योंकि आई हैव ट्राइड सम टाइम दैट विदाउट वेयर इफ आई एम राइटिंग द डायरेक्ट
कैन यू
कंडीशन
कॉपी पेस्ट योर कोड क्विकली इन द चैट बॉक्स इफ समवन इज आस्किंग अबाउट देयर सॉल्यूशन नो तुम अपना सॉल्यूशन रेडी रखो ठीक है फटाक से कॉपी पेस्ट करो और उसको चैट बॉक्स में डालो सो दैट वी कैन डिस्कस इट ठीक है तो हाउ क्विकली कैन यू डू दैट अपना सॉल्यूशन
आई विल ट्राई एक 2 मिनट यू कैन डिस्कस द रेस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आई विल मीनवाइल
चल
आई विल ट्राई
चलो ठीक है और मे बी आई कैन गिव यू फीडबैक ऑफलाइन यार मतलब दिस इज द सिनेरियो वेयर आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस सॉल्यूशन फीडबैक तुम्हारा कोई लग रहा है कि भाई तुम्हारा प्रॉब्लम क्यों नहीं सॉल्व होगा तुम्हारा सॉल्यूशन क्यों नहीं चलेगा दैट वी कैन टेक इट ऑफलाइन ओके सो आई 1-to-1 कॉन्वर्सेशन आई कैन गिव यू फीडबैक ओके दैट इज
ओके
आल्सो
ओके
फाइन ठीक है
ओके
सो ये क्लास है तो सबके हिसाब से और चलते हैं ठीक है जस्ट टू ऑप्टिमाइज द
ठीक
टाइमिंग चलेगा
ओके
ठीक है आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि मैं तेरे को फीडबैक नहीं दूंगा तू अपना सॉल्यूशन बता आई विल टेल यू कि व्हाट इज रॉन्ग एंड व्हाट इज नॉट रॉन्ग ओके ठीक है
या ओके
सिद्धार्थ यू आर सेइंग समथिंग यार बताओ
Sir, can we use comma in where clause?
कॉमा इन वेयर क्लोज क्या मतलब है समझा नहीं मैं
Sir, instead of and.
आई गेस डिपेंड्स ऑन द डेटा टेबल यार मैं हमेशा एंड यूज करता हूँ आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ दिस इज गोइंग टू वर्क आई डोंट नो कुछ अगर कोई डेटाबेस अगर सपोर्ट कर रहा है तो नहीं कॉमा कोई मतलब नहीं है यू हैव टू स्पेसिफाई एंड और ऑन बिकॉज लाइक आई एम आस्किंग वेयर दिस हैज टू बी करेक्ट as well as this has to be correct okay and that has to be including this and syntax right I'm not saying or and not तो सिस्टम को पता तो चलना चाहिए ना कि ये दोनों ही कंडीशन मीट होनी चाहिए कॉमन से आई डोंट थिंक कुछ भी विजिबल हो रहा है कि ये और बोलना चाह रहा है बंदा या एंड बोलना चाह रहा है समझ में आ रहा है
Okay, okay.
कॉमा से क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है ना आई वांट दीज टू कंडीशंस टू बी मेट बोथ ऑफ दीज नॉट लाइक कि बस either less than 6 or this thing right it has to
Yeah.
be both of them on this date less than 6 hours okay so hopefully this is going to be fine and I can also use some left join and right join in this case by the way this table this query has been written it is taking employee first and attendance second whatever I explained to Nikhil okay can anyone tell me if instead of inner join if I have to use some other join and you have just changed one word this inner की जगह मुझे कुछ लिखना है left right outer कुछ भी लिखना है what will be that thing with this whole query kept intact Nikhil can you answer yourself
Yeah, we can use the left
Sir,
join.
left.
नहीं ध्यान से तूने एम्प्लॉय पहले रखा है अटेंडेंस बाद में रखा है आई वांट एवरी गाय
Yeah, but this will also work now because we have given the filtering conditions been given for the work hours.
फिल्टरिंग कंडीशन तुमने ऐसा दे रखा है तो अपना टेबल ऐसा है ना कि थोड़ा लेफ्ट भी चलेगा उसमें और राइट भी चलेगा तो द वे आई वाज टॉकिंग ना कि मतलब यू हैव टू टेक एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम द अटेंडेंस टेबल बिकॉज दीज आर द गाइज हु आर प्रेजेंट ऑन दैट डे एंड हैव वर्कड सो अगेन दैट ऑप्टिमल थिंग दैट इज गोइंग टू कैच एवरी कंडीशन दैट इज गोइंग टू बी राइट समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ अटेंडेंस अगर लेफ्ट में होता ना उस हिसाब से बोला था अटेंडेंस इज टुवर्ड्स लेफ्ट ठीक है अटेंडेंस इज टुवर्ड्स लेफ्ट तो फिर उस हिसाब से यू हैव टू हैव दिस लेफ्ट जॉइन एंड देन एम्प्लॉय टेबल and that is going to take everything from the attendance table and if that corresponding entry is there in employee table it will be returned otherwise it won't be returned but here we have everything so left right inner is going to give you the similar kind of results okay
Right.
clear
Right.
चलो यार थोड़ा क्वेश्चन को मैं और ट्रिकी कर सकता था लेकिन तुम्हें बहुत कंफ्यूजन आता है इसमें बट अगेन विल सी मैनी क्वेश्चंस गोइंग फॉरवर्ड ओके जिसका भी माइक ऑफ ऑन है यार ऑफ कर लो प्लीज ओके third question this is taking a bit of time 9:40 already what is the average salary of those employee who have attended the office at least once this is an interesting question who is going to go for this Pramod
Yes.
हाँ भाई
Question number 4.
Question number 3, I guess. What is the average salary of those employees who have attended the office at least once? I'm not talking about the query. Tell me the logic first. पहले किससे क्या निकालेंगे कैसे ज्वाइन करेंगे किस क्लॉज पे करेंगे and what has to be done. Okay.
Okay.
you want to see, this is the table.
एम्प्लॉय आईडी पे ज्वाइन कराएंगे, सैलरी का एवरेज लेंगे और वेयर कंडीशन लगाएंगे, एज एट वर्किंग आवर ग्रेटर देन जीरो रखेंगे वर्किंग आवर।
गो हेड फिर से बताओ। एम्प्लॉय आईडी पे ज्वाइन करेंगे, दैट्स दीज टू टेबल हैव टू बी ज्वाइंड। व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ज्वाइन यू डिड नॉट मेंशन, इनर ज्वाइन, लेफ्ट ज्वाइन, राइट ज्वाइन? ओके,
मैंने किया है लेफ्ट ज्वाइन, एम्प्लॉय टेबल को लेकर लेफ्ट ज्वाइन करेंगे।
एम्प्लॉय टेबल का एम्प्लॉय आईडी लेफ्ट ज्वाइन विद द अटेंडेंस थिंग। ओके,
और कंडीशन होगा एम्प्लॉय आईडी दोनों का कॉमन होगा और अटेंडेंस का वर्किंग आवर्स ग्रेटर देन जीरो होगा।
अटेंडेंस का वर्किंग आवर ग्रेटर देन 0 होगा। अरे यार, बाय डिफॉल्ट अटेंडेंस हैज दैट इंफॉर्मेशन वेयर द वर्किंग आवर इज ग्रेटर देन 0। वर्किंग आवर 0 होगा तो वो उसका एंट्री नहीं होगा ना, कोई मतलब नहीं। दैट मींस दैट
एब्सेंट होगा
एब्सेंट
वो।
था ना वो, तो नोट में तो वही लिखा होगा
हाँ,
ना कि
जीरो होगा तो एब्सेंट होगा।
if you're absent then there won't be any record. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. Average salaries of those employees who have attended the office at least once, keep in mind all of those guys who have attended the office at least once, they are in the attendance table. I'll tell you the line of thought. Okay, all of those guys
Okay.
who have attended the office at least once, okay, they are in the
Hmm.
attendance table. Okay, so how do I find the list of guys who have attended the office at least once? Think about the most optimal way to find the list of guys who have attended the office at least once in the database, whatever we have, whatever data we have.
हैविंग काउंट लगाएंगे।
नहीं, मेरे को बस सिंपल बताओ। आई वॉन्ट लिस्ट ऑफ ऑल द एम्प्लॉय आईडीज, ओके, हु हैव अटेंडेड द ऑफिस एट लीस्ट वंस। प्रॉब्लम डिफरेंट है। जो क्वेश्चन है इसके हिसाब से मत सोचो। वट एवर आई एम आस्किंग, जस्ट टेल मी द आंसर एंड आई गाइड यू द राइट आंसर इन अ वेरी simplistic way. Okay, find the list of employee ID who have attended the office at least once. बताओ।
अटेंडेंस टेबल में इसके एम्प्लॉय आईडी की एंट्री होगा।
तो suppose I have to write a query to find the list of employee IDs, क्या होगा? And now I'll be telling you how to write a query in a proper and efficient way that is going to have better readability, and it will make much more sense when someone else is reading your code. Okay, so the first logic I'll tell you. Okay, I'll solve it myself. So the first thing I'm going to do is to find a list of guys who have attended the office at least once. The next line of thought is that for these guys I have to find their salaries. Okay, and I know for each guy the salary information is there in the employee table, hopefully in the employee table, right? I guess in the employee table only. Yeah, salary information is in the employee table. So somehow if I can generate a list of guys who have attended the office at least once, just fetch their salary and take the average of that column, you have your answer. Okay, so just to make it more concrete, I'll just write a query that is just going to be with, I'll say, present employees. What does it mean? Present employees is basically what? List of all guys who have attended the and you can write a comment here. Okay, so list of employee ID who have attended the office at least once. Okay, what is that? Select distinct employee ID from what table? Demo dot employee. काम खत्म. I have list of all guys who have been to office at least once, and this is the set I am looking for. Just find their salary, do the average, done. कितने लाइन का है? Now what do I have to do? select. Okay, keep in mind, now I'm going to take this present employee, and this is a CTE. I have told you what a CTE is. Okay, so this present employee can be considered as a CTE in the next solution, next query, and I just have to fetch their salary. I'll be keeping these guys as like this table as T1. Okay, and I'll be considering the employee table as T2. Okay, so I can write T1 dot employee ID, okay, T2 dot salary from present employees T1. What do I have to do? Again, simple inner join is going to do the job. Okay, in this case, again, you can say that assuming every employee has the salary detail, otherwise again you have to do left join. So again, just to reiterate the thing that I have been telling you guys, I'm just going to do a left join. Left join what? Demo dot employee, read kar le bhai, it's not giving a suggestion. Okay, no problem. Left join demo dot employee T2 on T1 dot employee ID is equal to T2 dot employee ID. Now tell me what this query is going to return. Harshvardhan, if I'm going to run this query, what is it is going to return? It's going to return an error or maybe some value. What kind of value I can expect?
Let me think. No, it will just return the employee IDs, distinct employee IDs. That's all.
Distinct employee ID. So let me just do, is it just going to return the distinct employee ID, this whole thing?
Yeah, I think because
Bro, this is the CTE. CTE, you are not running the CTE. CTE you have already written, and this is going to
okay,
be used in this query. Present employee is a CTE that you have just written, and this CTE has
okay,
the information of all the employee IDs. Okay,
okay. Then the employee IDs and their salary.
employee
Whoever.
ID and a salary who have attended the office at least once. So that means if I'm just going to do a quick select star, these guys 1, 2. How many employee ID will be returned? Just looking at this query and the code that I have written, and this is going to be a good exercise. सबको ध्यान से सुनो यार. This is how you're supposed to write your queries. ये query है, ये table है. Okay, this is your employee table. Sorry, the attendance table. Sorry, हाँ, attendance table. अब मेरे को बताओ इसमें से, by the way, this is the attendance at the mode of attendance. Attendance उठा रहा हूँ ना मैं. Okay, so this is the present employee, employee ID from demo dot attendance, and this is the query I'm writing, joining present employee and with the employee table, fetching employee ID from one table, salary from another table. Tell me how many employee IDs will be returned and what will be those employee IDs. This is your, by the way, attendance table यार. सबके पास आंसर होना चाहिए. निखिल,
6 employee IDs distinct.
कौन कौन से यार?
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
वेरी गुड यार. 1, देख तुम क्या कर रहे हो? एम्प्लॉय डेमो डॉट अटेंडेंस, यही तो है तुम्हारा डेमो डॉट अटेंडेंस, राइट? इससे तुम डिस्टिंक्ट एम्प्लॉय आईडी उठा रहे हो. सो यू आर फेचिंग द डिस्टिंक्ट एम्प्लॉय आईडीज 1, 2, 3. 2 is already there. 5, 1 is already there. 6 and 7. There is no 4. The guy with employee ID 4, he never came to the office, right? So if I'm just going to do a select star on present employee, I'm not going to write it. I'm going to do select star on present employee. It is just going to return 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So just 6 guys, okay? And those guys are being joined with employee information, and I'm doing a left join, okay? And employee ID is equal to employee ID, and I'm fetching the salary from their right table. I'm going to do this. This is I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. There is no 4, okay? And now I have the table which is ready to give me the answer that I need. क्या करना है मेरे को? बस इन्हीं बंदों का मेरे को क्या करना है? एवरेज सैलरी निकाल लेनी है. तो ये मेरे पास आ गया. अब सिंपल मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? सबसे सिंपल आंसर क्या होगा? सेलेक्ट एवरेज salary as average salary, or maybe just to make it more readable, of present employee. From, I can put this whole thing in a inner query, sub query, whatever you call it. Okay, and maybe put a name, right? Salary details. Okay. Pramod, tell me if this is going to give me the right answer.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. There's no error there. 82.5, and this has to be the average
Average.
of these guys. Okay, so this is how you approach a problem. First of all, the question asks for only those guys who were present in, like, at least once. Okay, and then I'm doing this and that, and even if I'm going to do an inner join, it is not going to do any damage to my logic. Okay, so I'm expecting 82.5 again, and that is the answer, 82.5. Okay. Okay, third question. Now this is going to be from us. Another.
Piyush, can you try? I have written a code in chat box, a bit different approach. Can you check that if it's working?
ये इसी के लिए है ये.
इसी के लिए है, बस इसमें वो टेबल का नेम जो है वो डेमो डॉट करना होगा।
Okay, demo dot attendance, and this is going to be demo dot employee. Okay, let's just check कि पहले आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा. Unknown column t1 dot date. Okay, so there is some error. And what I'll do यार, मैं ये टेबल तुम लोगों के साथ शेयर कर दूंगा so that you can check your own. What was the table name for it? Working date, work date, working date. Working date. एक बार देख लो कुछ और तो नहीं फंस रहा है. Employee ID, salary, I guess should be fine. 82.5 is the correct answer यार. ठीक है. कोई कुछ और बोल रहा है. Devendra Raghuvanshi join now. Okay, cool यार. Let me ask this question to someone else. The next question. Be ready. Rahul, भाई तू मेरे को ये क्वेश्चन बता. Find the average salary of those employees who have never attended the office. So this is very similar, but again थोड़ा सा different है. Find the average salary of those employees who have never attended the office. Can you use this present template that I have written? I'm just going to delete this guy. His answer is correct only. Okay.
who have never attended the office.
ठीक है, तो ये टेम्पलेट यूज करो. ठीक है, कि हमें पहले लिस्ट मिल जाए जो भी हमें बेस डेटा में चाहिए, राइट. फाइंड देयर सैलरी एंड देन फाइंड देयर एवरेज. दैट इज गोइंग टू बी मच इजियर टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके. So how do you find a list of guys who have never attended the office? Let's start with that. With absent employees. I'm going to name this as absent employees. Can you complete this CT? थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी है ये.
From
लॉजिक बताओ. लॉजिक forget about the query. लॉजिक बताओ. How do I fetch the list of guys who have never attended the office?
ऑफिस अटेंड नहीं किया. who have never attended the office. एक मिनट मैं थोड़ा सा वो देख लूँ. never attended the topic. लॉजिक इसमें होगा.
That means कि वो एम्प्लॉय टेबल में है लेकिन अटेंडेंस टेबल में नहीं है वो. Whatever you are looking for, that is in the employee table. Keep in mind. थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी है ये.
हाँ सर. never attended the office.
ये क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट किया है तुमने? नहीं किया है तो ऑन द
नहीं
स्पॉट
ये
करना, नहीं किया है
नहीं ये
तो
वाला अटेंड नहीं किया था।
नहीं किया है तो ऑन द स्पॉट करना मुश्किल है यार, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। निखिल तुमने किया है आंसर ये?
हाँ किया है ये।
हाँ यार बताओ, हाउ डू आई गेट अ लिस्ट ऑफ ऑल एम्प्लॉइज who have never attended the office? Just complete the city, forget about the problem की सैलरी भी निकालना है, एवरेज भी निकालना है, forget about that.
If I can tell the logic for that.
हाँ हाँ,
From the
लॉजिक बताओ, लॉजिक बताओ.
from the employee table, we will left join the attendance.
From the employee table you will left the attendance, so which table is going to be on the left?
Employee table.
Employee table, go ahead.
And then we can apply the filter condition of the working hours.
Mhm.
Is it null? So we will get the absent employees.
Perfect यार, perfect. तो ये बेसिकली बंदा ये बोल रहा है कि you just take the employee table to the left, join it with attendance, so that means employee left join attendance, okay, and then he's going to fetch the working hour. Obviously those employees who are in the employee table but they are never present in the attendance table, for these guys the working hours is going to be null. So I can just filter on based on null and I'll get the value or the list of the guys who have never attended the office. Go ahead with the query यार, तुम ही बता दो query फिर बताओ.
From employee
From
employee E, left join attendance A.
from employee
E. वो T1 T2 में कंफ्यूज होता है.
ठीक है,
E we can use.
अच्छा ई लिखेगा तो चल कोई दिक्कत
हाँ
नहीं.
left join attendance A.
लेफ्ट जॉइन अटेंड demo dot टाइप क्यों नहीं हो रहा, अटेंडेंस ए
On E dot employee ID
ई डॉट एम्प्लॉय आईडी इज इक्वल टू
is equal to A dot employee ID.
एम्प्लॉय आईडी. सो फॉर सो
Where
ध्यान से सुनो भाई, जिसका भी आंसर नहीं आया, वेयर
A dot working hours is null.
ए डॉट वर्किंग
Hours.
आवर ही है क्या ये?
वर्क और
Work hours.
वर्क आवर्स कहाँ लिख रहा था मैंने, वर्क आवर्स इज इक्वल टू
Is null.
इज नल. ठीक है,
Then we select
सेलेक्ट बताओ.
select E dot distinct E dot employee ID.
डिस्टिंक्ट
E dot employee ID.
ई डॉट
Employee ID.
एम्प्लॉय आईडी
Comma salary.
कॉमा. ओके, सैलरी किस में है तुम्हारा यार? ई में ही है.
Employee.
Sorry, salary from the employee
सैलरी
table.
एम्प्लॉय में ही है तो ई डॉट सैलरी होगा ना वो तो.
E dot salary.
ई डॉट सैलरी.
Then we will use it as a subquery, whole subquery.
ओके, सब क्वेरी रखते हैं या सीटी रखते हैं ना, सीटी के फॉर्मेट में चल रहे हैं ना अभी थोड़ा सा. ठीक है,
Okay.
ठीक है.
Then select
सेलेक्ट
average
एवरेज.
E dot salary.
ई नहीं आएगा, अच्छा ई लिखने वाला है क्या, चल देखता हूँ मैं क्या बोलता है. तो ई डॉट सैलरी फ्रॉम
From absent employee.
एब्सेंट
Employee.
इज इट करेक्ट? थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ है, जब तूने ई बोला तभी मैंने तेरे को बोला. While you're
हाँ.
writing E, if there is no table name alias starting with E, right? So maybe you have to
Right.
write absent employee as E.
Right.
E
So
पहले
what?
तुम लिख दिया ना, तो E won't be the name of the column. E is just to reference the table that I'm fetching the data from, right?
Oh.
So if I'm going to run, just forget about this for a moment. ठीक है, if I'm just going to do a select star, what I'm going to get, ये बताओ पहले. Select star from absent employee, क्या मिलेगा मेरे को?
The table of the employee ID and the employee salary.
Employee ID
Columns.
and employee salary who are never present in the office at even for once, right? So I'm going to
Right.
run this. Hopefully I'll get the answer. That is employee ID 4 and 8. Okay, दो बंदे थे क्या, कभी नहीं है ऑफिस में? 1 2 3 5 6 demo dot employee. Just give me a second यार.
यस, 2 बंदे नहीं है.
दो बंदे नहीं आए क्या? 1 2 3 4 8 बंदे टोटल है मेरे पास. और हाँ 8 भी नहीं आया, 4 भी नहीं आया. Okay, so we have just two guys who were never present in the office, that is E004 and E008, and that is listed in this information. E004, 008 and their corresponding salary. I just have to take the average of those guys. Okay, so the same thing that he did, what he did, he got those list of guys who were never present as well as the salary. We could have done the same here as well. Okay, but if I have just to get the list, you'll just write the simple query. बाकी के तुम यहाँ पे तुम उसकी salary भी निकाल सकते हो, or maybe you can go for a inner query. Okay, and in this case here you have both the information, like just have the concrete information of these guys who are like never present and the respective salary. Now why this is working, keep in mind, when I'm doing a left join, I'll get every guy from the employee table. Okay, every guy from the employee table and the matching guy from the attendance table. And when I'm going to fetch the working hour, no, when I'm going to fetch the working hour, those guys who are present in the employee table but not in the attendance table, and since attendance has the working hour information, it will be null, because वो तो कभी आए नहीं ऑफिस में, तो अटेंडेंस कहाँ से लगेगा उनका. ओके, सो दैट अटेंडेंस कॉलम का जो वर्किंग आवर इंफॉर्मेशन है, कॉलम तो मेरे को सारा रिटर्न हो रहा है, यहाँ पे बस मैं वही बता रहा हूँ जो मेरे को चाहिए. कीप इन माइंड, all of those columns from both the tables are being returned. Okay, so let's say we have 10 table in first 10 column in the first table, 20 column in the second table, we have 30 columns at our disposal. Okay, whether that value is going to be null or non-null, it depends if the condition was met or not met. Okay, so we have at our disposal this a dot working hour. I'm just filtering where a dot working hour is null, that means that guy was not present, and here only it's going to give me the answer of employee ID and the corresponding salary. And now it's as simple as writing this thing. Okay, so select average salary. Okay, maybe we'll just write salary. Okay, and from absent employee, and this is going to be the correct answer. Okay, it is 92.5, and I'm not given any alias, so I'll just put it as average salary. Okay, and it should be fine. ठीक है, तो ये लॉजिक है यार. ठीक है, अभी निखिल तेरे से पहले मैंने जिस बंदे से पूछा था उसका नाम बताओ यार, कौन था अभी, जो लाइक द पर्सन हु वाज
हाँ
सेइंग दैट.
मैं था
नेम नहीं,
राहुल
राहुल.
राहुल
Rahul, tell me, if I have to just get the list of guys who have never joined office even once, what would be the query for the same? Just the list of employee IDs. Forget about the salary information. The answer is there in this query only. You just have to remove some stuff, right? तो अगर मेरे को बस employee ID का list चाहिए, मैं बोल दूँ कि भाई मेरे को count बताओ. Okay? Tell me the number of guys who were never present in the office. Okay, maybe HR called, like HR got a call from the management and she has to answer this thing. Now she is reaching out to you, Rahul, कि राहुल भाई मेरे को हेल्प कर दे, ये डेटा है, मेरे को बता दे कि कितने लोग आज तक ऑफिस में आए ही नहीं. राहुल अभी हीरो बनने जाएगा और बताएगा कोड. बता.
सेलेक्ट काउंट
हाँ,
काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी
सेलेक्ट काउंट,
डिस्टिंक्ट एम्प्लॉय आईडी
ठीक
इन
है,
ब्रैकेट.
काउंट डिस्टिंक्ट एम्प्लॉय आईडी. इसी टेबल को थोड़ा सोचो ना यार, तुम्हें ज़्यादा दिमाग मत लगाओ. यही CTE को बस तुम्हें थोड़ा सा चेंज कर रहे हैं, एंड यू हैव टू गिव मी द लिस्ट ऑफ दोज गाइज, लाइक काउंट ऑफ दोज गाइज. So what can you change and still get the answer? Select count distinct ID. इसके बाद तूने from क्या बोलेगा तू? Let me just see if you are doing it correctly. What I am thinking.
फ्रॉम में हम ये फ्रॉम फ्रॉम एब्सेंट एम्प्लॉय लेंगे.
Okay. Now we are getting somewhere. From absent employee. Is this the correct answer?
ये मतलब हाँ अब सही है.
Okay. Tell me, do we need distinct?
अनडिस्टिंक्ट में अनडिस्टिंक्ट डिस्टिंक्ट में
बताया था
मतलब
बहुत पहले ही कि डिस्टिंक्ट अगर नेसेसरी नहीं है तो यूज मत
अच्छा
करो इसको. टेल मी,
ओके
इज डिस्टिंक्ट रिक्वायर्ड हियर?
नो
व्हाई?
बिकॉज इन द एब्सेंट एम्प्लॉय ना एंड एब्सेंट हम लोग पहले ही बता चुके हैं कि एब्सेंट एम्प्लॉय में डिस्टिंक्ट पहले ही से है, नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज जो होंगे कॉमन आ जाएंगे, मतलब डिस्टिंक्ट आ जाएंगे, तो डिस्टिंक्ट वहाँ पे यूज नहीं करेंगे।
डिस्टिंक्ट मैंने पहले यहाँ पे डाल दिया है कि मेरे को जो भी लिस्ट
हाँ
आएगी ना एम्प्लॉय आईडी
हाँ
सैलरी की, इट हैज टू बी डिस्टिंक्ट. दैट मींस एवरी
वही
एम्प्लॉय सिंस is unique. Okay, every
हाँ
employee is not going to be repeated with their salary information. I'm just listing employee ID and the salary. I just have to count the
हाँ
employee ID
वो
and
हाँ
as
एज कुछ भी नाम लिख मतलब
absent
एब्सेंट
employee count. And what I'm expecting, how many are there? दो बंदे हैं ना, ठीक है. If I'm going to run this, I should be getting 2. ठीक है, दो आंसर.
हाँ
Simple as that. Okay. Find the attendance percentage of each date. Again, very easy, but let me see how many of you want to solve it in the class only. किससे पूछा नहीं अभी तक मैंने? विभोर, चलो, छुप नहीं सकते भाई, मैं सबको पकड़ूंगा, ठीक है. How do I find the attendance percentage of each date? लॉजिक बताओ
ये
भाई.
क्वेश्चन ट्राई कर रहा था बट हुआ नहीं था।
देख, गोली मत दे मेरे को बेटा, ये बोल रहा हूँ मैं.
गोली नहीं दिया। ठीक है,
हाँ.
बता रहा हूँ।
तू ट्राई किया था, हुआ नहीं? ट्राई किया था, हुआ नहीं?
ये
कैसे
दो
डिफरेंट?
मेरे से हाँ 4 और 5th क्वेश्चन मेरे से नहीं हुए थे।
4th and 5th नहीं हुआ था, ठीक है. चलो ठीक है, किसी का और सॉल्यूशन देख लेते हैं, because we have to wrap this up quickly as well. Prashant, did you try this and got something?
Yes, I think.
हाँ भाई, बताओ. I'll just write the question again. And by the way, I'll be sharing the solution here. Final solution मैं share करूँगा फिर. Find the attendance percentage of each date. पहले बताओ क्या करना है मेरे को.
We will count the number of employees who have attended, and by the total employees we will get that from different tables, that is estimated.
Okay. We have a table called attendance. It has the date information. Okay.
Yes.
It has the for the corresponding date we have the information of each employee and the working hour. Okay.
Yes.
First of all, forget about the percentage. If I want to get a count of employees present on each date, how can I do that? Give me the query orally, because this is a very simple problem. I want to find the count of present employee for each date. How can I do that?
We will use count.
I'll show you the employee the attendance table, by the way. So this is the attendance table. I'll do attendance table again.
Select count.
Select count बोलते हैं, तू बोलते जा.
Yeah,
Select
count. Employee ID.
Count employee ID. Okay.
From attendance. Where?
यार कहाँ से आ गया, बट ठीक है, बोल बोल.
Sorry. Where?
नहीं, बोलो बोलो बोलो. एटलीस्ट मुझे समझ तो आया कि तुम कितना मचाते हो. बताओ. Select count employee ID. You are doing a count of employee ID from the attendance table. Cool. Where what? What you are trying to filter out? There was no filtering condition in the problem.
Yeah.
कुछ है ही नहीं. मैंने तुझसे सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछा है भाई, मेरे को हर दिन का अटेंडेंस परसेंटेज बताओ.
ग्रुप बाय है यहाँ पे.
कौन बोल रहा है यार? कोई, सबको नहीं बोलना है, सबको नहीं बोलना है. मुझे पता है कुछ लोग आंसर पता होगा. कौन बोल रहा है?
राहुल.
राहुल, हाँ तू बता सकता है.
ग्रुप बाय वर्किंग डेट.
हाँ तो क्वेरी बताओ ना फिर, अगर लॉजिक तुम्हें समझ में आ रहा है तो क्वेरी बताओ फिर फटाफट से.
हाँ ठीक. सेलेक्ट
हाँ बोलते हैं.
वो टेबल दिखा दीजिए, एक बार टेबल दिखा दीजिए वो.
ओके.
सेलेक्ट एम्प्लॉय आईडी.
हाँ सॉरी.
फ्रॉम टेबल का नाम अटेंडेंस ऑफ ग्रुप बाय वर्किंग डेट.
ओके. सो सेलेक्ट एम्प्लॉय आईडी बोल रहा है तू?
एम्प्लॉय आईडी चाहिए ना?
हाँ मेरे को कितने बंदे प्रेजेंट हैं.
अच्छा, सेलेक्ट काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी.
सेलेक्ट काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी. ओके. देन
फ्रॉम अटेंडेंस टेबल
select count,
select
I'll just write यार, चलो ठीक है।
select count distinct employee ID.
भाई एक दिन में बंदा 2 बार कैसे आ सकता है?
Oh,
काउंट
sorry.
डिस्टिंक्ट लगाने की क्या जरूरत है?
ठीक है, हाँ ग्रुप लगा है ना। सेलेक्ट एम्प्लॉय आईडी।
ग्रुप लगा है, that's not the reason. Employee ID is like that information for a given employee ID on a given working date is only going to be there only once, right? So for a given working date, 25th of January, let's say for example, and a given employee cannot be repeated multiple times. So there is no need for counting distinct values. You can just do
Okay.
a count of employee ID for each date.
Select count employee ID
Uh-huh.
from attendance.
From attendance. Continue.
Group by working date.
Group by
वर्किंग डेट। हाँ वर्किंग
Working
डेट
date.
और ऑर्डर बाय जो भी ऑर्डर लेना
नहीं
चाहता
नहीं,
है।
ऑर्डर नहीं चाहिए मेरे को। चल ठीक है, चल मैं बोल ही रहा है तो मैं लिख भी देता हूँ। वर्किंग डेट।
डिसेंडिंग, हाँ जो भी।
इज दिस फाइन? नम
एज, हाँ
प्रेजेंट एम्प्लॉय। अभी भी गड़बड़ है, मैं तुमको बताता हूँ क्या गड़बड़ है। ये देखो, मैं रन कर रहा हूँ ना, ठीक है। क्या आया? 3221। तू मेरे को बताएगा कि 3 कौन से डेट के करस्पॉन्डिंग है, 2 कौन से डेट के करस्पॉन्डिंग है, 1 किस डेट के करस्पॉन्डिंग है?
अच्छा, तो यहाँ पे कॉमा लगाएंगे, एज नंबर प्रेजेंट के कॉमा डेट लगा देंगे
भाई ये सबसे
तो वहाँ पर
इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये बहुत
डेट
इम्पोर्टेंट
के
है।
अकॉर्डिंग। नहीं, हमें लगा केवल, हाँ ठीक,
ठीक
डेट
है,
लगा देंगे।
because you want the number of present employee for each working date. Okay, so you
हाँ,
have to
ठीक
have
है।
that working date information as well. That means on 25th 3 guys were present, on 27th 2 guys were present, 28 2 guy, 29 1 guy.
Yes.
Okay, so this should be fine यार। ग्रुप बाय में मत मचाओ प्लीज यार, अगर ग्रुप बाय में तुम गड़बड़ करोगे तो फिर मेरे को बहुत दुख होगा कि यार कुछ नहीं पढ़ा पा रहा हूँ मैं इनको, ठीक है। तो प्लीज ग्रुप बाय मत। Okay, I'm going to ask Varun how to use this information and get to the final answer. Be quick here, I don't have enough time. How to use this information and get to the final answer. बहुत कुछ पढ़ाना था यार, डिस्कशन में ही टाइम निकल गया, बट ठीक है, लेट्स सी। Varun, can you hear me यार? Wow. लोकेश। हाँ, थिएटर में तो नहीं बैठा है ना भाई?
नो सर, मैरिज नीचे मैरिज है,
चलो
मैरिज
चलो
का बाद।
ठीक है। टेल मी हाउ डू आई गेट टू माय फाइनल आंसर, दैट इज अटेंडेंस परसेंटेज ऑफ ईच डेट, एंड आई हैव द रिस्पेक्टिव काउंट फॉर ईच डेट। आई हैव द रिस्पेक्टिव काउंट, आई हैव टू गेट टू द फाइनल आंसर, दैट इज द परसेंटेज। हाउ कैन आई यूज दिस इंफॉर्मेशन? पहले तो मैथ्स बताओ क्या करना है, व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट स्टेप मैथमेटिकली?
Mathematics. Total number of employees present from the total number of employees.
Number of present employee divided by
Total
number
number
of employee. How do I find total number of employee?
from the employee table.
From the employee table. Correct. So let me ask you to give me a query that is just going to return a number, and that number is the total employee count. What is the query? Find the total number of employee in the company. क्या करूँगा मैं?
Okay. Select employee ID.
Select
Employee ID from the employee table.
नहीं count चाहिए ना मेरे को।
Select count employee, distinct employee. Something. Employee ID is same. Okay. Count employee ID from employee.
तो यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? Now total employee
from employee table.
demo dot
employee.
ठीक है, ये क्या देगा मेरे को? What this is going to give me?
Total number of employees in the
Total number of employees, that is 8. Okay, I just have to find a way to divide each value by 8. Now I know कि यार 8 है, तो मैनुअली मैं डिवाइड नहीं कर सकता कि मैं चुपचाप यहाँ पे गया अब काउंट यहाँ पे करके और डिवाइड बाय 8 कर दिया। अरे नहीं भाई, ये तो चीटिंग हो गई। How do you know beforehand that the number is going to be 8? So the system has to dynamically check how many guys are there. Suppose कल को एक नया एम्प्लॉय ऐड हुआ, Okay, so in that case, 8 is going to be 9, but you're going to return the wrong answer. Okay, so you cannot write 8 here. How can I write this? Nikhil, can you help me out here quickly?
We can directly use that in the divide that. We can directly use that below query and divide the count of employee ID.
Okay, so you just divide this thing by the whole select statement you are telling.
हाँ, right.
नहीं, थोड़ा सा उससे efficient करते हैं, वो थोड़ा सा verbose हो गया. Okay, the same logic, but how you can do it in a more efficient way. किसी को कोई आइडिया? कोई भी यार. I'll wait for 30 seconds. Vibhor, yeah, tell me.
सर ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि ऊपर जो क्वेरी लिखा हुआ है इसको हम लोग एक टेम्पररी टेबल क्रिएट कर दें.
कर दिया भाई, ये ले. तेरे बोलने से पहले
हाँ,
कर दिया मैंने.
और सर
और बता.
और सर यहाँ पे काउंट से पहले ही हम वो काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी का वो कर दें.
निकल
फॉर्मूला लगा के.
हाँ, फिर से बोल. ये कर दिया मैंने टेम्पलेट.
सेलेक्ट.
हाँ.
सेलेक्ट काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी.
सेलेक्ट काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी. जो लिखा हुआ है उसको रिपीट मत करो. ये एक चीज लिखी हुई है यहाँ पे, काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी.
हाँ, नो, मैं इसको रिपीट नहीं कर रहा था.
Why you writing count then? You have ना alias ना, number present employee.
हाँ, सॉरी एग्जैक्टली. मैं num अंडरस्कोर प्रेजेंट एम्प्लॉय. और सर यहाँ पे जो काउंट का फॉर्मूला लगा है ना, तो डिवाइड कर देंगे हम लोग. डिवाइड बाय काउंट एम्प्लॉय. यहाँ पे टोटल एम्प्लॉय फ्रॉम.
क्या किससे डिवाइड करूँ यार? ये
टोटल एम्प्लॉय वाले से सर. यहाँ पे
तो पूरा तू ये बोल रहा है
एलियास देंगे.
टोटल एम्प्लॉय आईडी.
बट सर यहाँ पे काउंट फंक्शन देना पड़ेगा ना, क्योंकि एलियास को वो समझेगा नहीं ना कि क्या है. तो यहाँ पे देना पड़ेगा काउंट एम्प्लॉय आईडी एज टोटल एम्प्लॉय फ्रॉम डेमो.एम्प्लॉय.
यू आर जस्ट सेइंग कि यही चीज मेरे को यहाँ पे डालनी है ना. यही तो बोल रहा है ना तू. यही बोल रहा है ना तू.
हाँ, सेलेक्ट हटा के.
ओके, सेलेक्ट हटा
Maybe
के.
I'm wrong.
बिना सेलेक्ट के कोई स्टेटमेंट नहीं होता भाई. चल जाने दे. निखिल, टेल मी. निखिल कुछ बोल रहा था यार तू.
Hello. हाँ, sorry. We will use another city for the below query. We will name.
ओके,
So
दूसरा सिटी बनाने के लिए पहले सिटी के बाद कॉमा लगाते हैं. ओके, सो कॉमा लगा
इस
दिया.
city का
कुछ देते हैं इसका
टोटल एम्प्लॉय कंपनी इसका नाम देंगे.
एम्प्लॉइज. चल ठीक है, टोटल एम्प्लॉय काउंट लिख देता हूँ मैं एज.
हाँ, as and
ध्यान से
that
देखो भाई,
query.
सब लोग ध्यान से देखो क्या चल रहा है. ठीक है. ओके.
हाँ, then select num present employee from the daily num present employee.
ठीक है, तो डेली अटेंडेंस को कुछ एलियास देगा ना, तो उसको पहले लिखना पड़ेगा ना यहाँ पे. लेट्स कॉल दैट T1. ओके, T1 डॉट. ठीक है, और मैं भी तेरे हिसाब से मैं इसको D डालता हूँ. यू राइट D, राइट, एंड इसके लिए तो T लिखेगा. तो D डॉट num present employee is copying it here. ठीक है, आगे.
Divided by total employee. So we will give alias for that.
ठीक है, T डॉट
total employee from.
नहीं, डेट के हिसाब से चाहिए ना मेरे को भाई. डेट.
हाँ, right.
डेट भी तो रिट्रीव करेगा ना, तो उसका D डॉट वर्किंग डेट फ्रॉम डेली अटेंडेंस. लेट्स कॉल दिस T. आगे ये इम्पोर्टेंट है. यहाँ पे तुम ज्वाइन करने जा रहे हो शायद से. Let's see.
We can only give the comma and write the total employee count.
We can write the comma. Was not expecting, but very good यार. ठीक है, S T. ठीक है, और देख ले एक बार क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं. Okay, I'll repeat यार. talking about a CT called daily attendance. In this table, I'm querying from demo.attendance, grouping by work date. Okay, for each working date, I'm counting the number of employees. Again, there is no need to count distinct. Again, distinct is also giving the same answer, but the employee ID is always going to be distinct for each given day. So the entry is not going to be repeated for any given employee for a given day. So for each working date, you're counting the number of employees and you're calling that num present employee. That is one CT. So daily attendance मेरे को पता चल गई किस दिन पे कितने बंदे आ रहे हैं. ठीक है. I need to divide that by the total number of employees. Okay. In some day that db.employee is going to be updated and few more entries are created. In that case, I need to take the count dynamically. So I cannot just count कर लिया यहाँ पे और 8 लगा के पुट करके और पेस्ट करके मैंने क्वेरीज को सेंड कर दी. कल को एरर आ सकता है. ठीक है. So total employee count as count employee ID is total employee from double employee, and this is going to take care of the total employee count at any given point of time, given that this demo.employee database is updated. Okay. Now just take the num present employee, divide by total employee count, and keep the working date same. I'm not doing any group by. Okay. And daily attendance D, total employee count T. What this is going to do, let me just remove this bracket like for a moment. So I'm just calling present employee उठा रहा हूँ मैं, total employee उठा रहा हूँ, working date उठा रहा हूँ, daily attendance D, total employee count T. Keep in mind these two are CTE. After a given CT, if you're working with two CT, you have to put comma. Okay. अगर यहाँ पे एक और CT करता तो मैं यहाँ पे भी comma लगा के फिर उस CT को मैं लिखता again. इसको मैंने हटा दिया. This is, let me first run it. This is called a cross join. Okay. I could have written the same thing जो निखिल पहले बोला था कि इसी में मैं select statement डाल के और इसको divide कर दूँ, and that is also going to be right. But I wanted you to introduce with the cross join thing as well, and for that you don't need the join information. You don't need the inner join, left join, because cross join is going to join everything. Simple as that. You have 10 rows. I'll make it more abstract. You have m rows in table 1 and you have n rows in table 2. The number of entities or the number of rows you are going to get is m cross n. So for every row in the first table, you will get a match for the every row in the second table. So 5 मेरे पास table 1 में, and then let's say 10 मेरे पास table 2 में. Total I'm going to get 50 rows. Okay. So what it is trying to do, basically for this table, if I'm just going to do select star from daily attendance quickly. ये देखो, इसको मैं रन करूँगा, क्या आ रहा है मेरे पास, num present employee, working date 4 दिन है, working date के corresponding present employee count और 4 दिन है, और इसमें how many rows are there total employee count में? This CT has just one value, count employee ID is total employee, just one value, and there's one entry here, 4 entries here, 4 into 1, we are going to get 4 final numbers, and that is the whole logic of cross join. Okay, cross join में सब कुछ ही मैच होगा तुम्हारा. ठीक है. तो m rows into n rows, you are going to get m into n final rows from the column here. 4 into 1 is 4. So this is the final, almost the final answer. I just have to do, basically writing this employee count separately, I can just divide this thing by total employee count, working date, and that is going to give me the fraction. I need a percentage. Okay, so I have to multiply by 100. Okay, and maybe I'll just do a rounding by say 2. Okay, and this is going to be my attendance percentage. Okay, fine. Hopefully this is going to work. And see, 25, 27, 28, 29, 37% था, 25%, 25% and 12.5%. डेट बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, लोग कम आ रहे हैं. So these are the kind of questions that you will be solving in your company. वहाँ पे join की कोई बात नहीं करेगा. You will be working with a real database and there will be a real problem. Okay, and it could be coming from anyone, maybe marketing, maybe HR, maybe from the team that you're currently working with. It could be a cross-functional role, it could be a individual team-based role. तो कुछ भी आ सकता है. You just have to be aware. First of all, the data aware, the data table awareness has to be there. What kind of entities I'm expecting? Is this column is supposed to be unique or this can be repeated? Those are the kind of questions you are going to ask to your database administrator. or maybe there is a like document that is going to tell you कि यार इस column का definition ये है, ये unique हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता है, चाहे ये primary की है, secondary की है, and with that logic you are going to write your query. Okay, तो ये चीज़ें थोड़ा ध्यान में रखने वाली है. Okay, this should be fine. And what is the final? You are joining the attendance table with employee in clause 6. How many rows will be written in the following cases? Inner join, left join, right join, outer join. Okay, मेरे को simple join करना है attendance और ये निखिल तू ही बता दे फटाक से यार, ये इसमें आंसर बताओ अपना क्या है.
For inner join 8 rows.
इनर जॉइन में 8 रोज, ठीक है.
हाँ. और लेफ्ट जॉइन में 8 rows.
8 रोज.
राइट में 10 और फिर से 10.
फिर से 10. ओके, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू थिंक दिस इज रॉन्ग, or maybe you have gotten a different answer? I haven't checked, I can check it right now, but this should be very fine. जितना भी डिस्कस किया है and whatever you know, you should be able to find out the right answer and the solution will be shared in the group shortly. How many of you different answer I would like to say कि नहीं यार ऐसे नहीं वैसे होगा कुछ? Anyone? Inner join में 8 बोल रहा है तो I think I have some reservations on that. प्रमोद, हाँ यार.
इनर जॉइन में 6 होगा.
इनर जॉइन में वही सोच रहा था कि जब दो बंदे कभी अटेंडेंस उन्होंने क्रिएट ही नहीं किया है, मतलब 8 कैसे हो सकता है? There are 2 guys ना who have never attended the office.
पर सर दो बार रिपीट हुई है वैल्यू.
एक सेकंड धीरे. हाँ,
अलग-अलग डेट पे डेटा है ना अटेंडेंस में, दैट्स व्हाई.
यहाँ पे डिस्टिंक्ट नहीं ले रहा है कि आप क्या पूछ रहे हैं अपना. हाउ मेनी रोज विल बी रिटर्न इन द फॉलोइंग केस. Okay, so same guy can be repeated multiple times even though 2 guys are missing. Right. Let me just check the attendance table and quickly attendance table and employee table. Okay, attendance में मेरे पास कितने हैं भाई? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. There are 8 rows here. Employee में we have 8 guys. If I'm doing an inner join का मतलब this 1 will be there, 2 will be there, 3 will be there, again 2 will be there, 5 will be there, 1 6 7. Yeah, we are going to get 8 joins. कैसे आएगा भाई 6? प्रमोद.
अच्छा, मैंने ये ध्यान नहीं दिया था.
हाँ,
डेट ध्यान नहीं दिया था मैंने.
नहीं, डेट से मतलब नहीं है. Like this guy is repeated, no, and every guy from this table is present in the employee table, so I'm going to get a
Yes.
match for every guy. Okay, even I was thinking कि यार 6 बंदे में से 2 बंदे तो 8 में से 2 तो आए नहीं थे, तो यार उनका डेटा नहीं होगा, but E is repeated 2 times. That was I was not thinking. So E001 is there 2 times and E002 is there 2 times. So we are going to get 8 rows. सही है. ठीक है, तो इनर जॉइन में 8, लेफ्ट जॉइन अगेन it is going to be 8 given that attendance is to the left and employee is to the right. एक बार बताएगा तू निखिल यार कैसे? तेरे पास अटेंडेंस है, एम्प्लॉई है, अटेंडेंस इज टू द लेफ्ट एंड एम्प्लॉई इज टू द राइट.
So we have all the matching records and no non-matching records from the attendance.
Okay, so left में you have everything from the left and all the matching records from the right. Okay, so there is nothing left here, right? So everything you're going to get from the left table is going to be the answer, and that is
Right.
basically what you got here. Okay, yeah, it's fine only. किसी को कोई दिक्कत, किसी को कोई और आंसर आया यार? So this 8 is correct. This first is correct. The second one is also correct. Left join, attendance and employee. So I'm going to get match for every guy in this attendance table. So again it's going to be 8 only. और कोई दिक्कत? Right join में बताओ 10. तू हर्षवर्धन तू बता 10 सही है गलत है, और सही है तो कैसे सही है?
Yeah, it's correct because first of all, those 8 rows will match already, and for the 2 absentees, the null values will come.
एक सेकंड. राइट ज्वाइन का मतलब है यू आर गोइंग टू गेट एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम द एम्प्लॉय टेबल, राइट?
Yeah.
ओके,
तो इसमें 1 वाला 2 बार रिपीट होगा और 2 वाला 2 बार
वेरी गुड. सो 1 वाला 2 बार रिपीट होगा, 2 वाला 2 बार रिपीट
और
होगा,
2
एंड
बाकी
एवरीथिंग इज बी देयर.
4 एंड 8 वाला जो है नल वैल्यू है.
नल आएगा, ठीक है. तो यू विल सी दैट फॉर दीज 8 एंट्रीज वी हैव रिपीटेड एंट्री फॉर 001 and 002 everything is present only once. Since you're doing a right join, that means everything from the employee table has to be retained, and the matching records I'll be finding from attendance is twice for E001 and twice for E002. तो 4 तो यहीं पे होगा. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. ठीक है. And for that, like जो भी attendance table में present नहीं है, that is E008 and E004. For their corresponding values are going to be null, whatever you're trying to fetch from the attendance table. Okay, so this 10 is also fine. Cool. Nikhil, you only outer join 10 कैसे होगा?
Again the 10
हाँ मतलब
because we don't have the any non-matching records from the
नॉन
left.
मैचिंग रिकॉर्ड ऑन द लेफ्ट, राइट. कोई भी ऐसा बंदा ही नहीं है जो लेफ्ट टेबल में है, दैट मीन्स वो अटेंडेंस टेबल में है और एम्प्लॉय टेबल में नहीं है. ओके, सो इट्स एज गुड एज योर राइट जॉइन.
Right join.
Okay, so 8, 8, 10, 10. This should be fine, and this final answer. ठीक है. I'll be sharing the database and you can find it yourself. इसमें कुछ बताने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. अगर you are सब कुछ तुम्हें समझ में आ रहा है, ठीक है. And if you are you have understood the outer join logic, this should be a cakewalk. Okay, the solution will be shared in the group in the next, I'll say 30 minutes, an hour or so. Okay, and you can check the solution yourself कि इसमें क्या होने वाला है. Again, I'm not going to bother because it is whatever you have gotten in the outer join. If your logic for the outer join is correct, you just have to go and see कि भाई यहाँ पे E1 है, यहाँ पे E2 है, यहाँ पे E3 है, blah blah blah. Okay, so the database and the solution will be shared shortly. If there's nothing else, I think we can call it off. Again, just to reiterate, you have your assignment submission tomorrow for the product case study. Do not miss it. Okay, otherwise, like, I'm not sure what you're going to hear from Mayank in the next class. Okay, so do not miss that assignment. It's very important. It has been, I guess, 1 or 2 weeks. So I asked like whether you asked for the submission date or not, and he said okay, there was no deadline, but make sure that it is intimated in the group, right? So tomorrow you have the submission for the product case studies. Okay, and the timing is 8 p.m. You have the whole night. Again, you have to stretch some extra hours यार. अगर तुम working professional हो, you take care of that. ठीक है. तो कल पहले जिन्होंने सॉल्यूशन इसका नहीं भेजा था, अपना सॉल्यूशन एक बार फिर से देख के भेजो. ओके, ट्राई इट, एंड देन टुमारो यू हैव टू सबमिट योर प्रोडक्ट केस स्टडीज एज वेल. ओके, एनीवन हैविंग एनी डाउट? किसी को कोई भी दिक्कत आ रही है, नीड एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ हेल्प? सिद्धार्थ बताओ यार.
Sir, I want to see the output table of very first assignment, like right join. We have done right join.
Very first assignment SQL join group by thing.
No, like sir, editor open करो आप एक बार.
Okay.
SQL join assignment discussion.
Okay.
No sir.
तेरे को कौन सा सॉल्यूशन चाहिए? सॉल्यूशन बता, क्वेश्चन नंबर बता.
It was when we joined right join. Sir, second one मतलब SQL वाला.
तू क्वेश्चन तो बता ना भाई. तेरे पास सारे क्वेश्चन में दिखा तो रहा हूँ स्क्रीन पे. क्वेश्चन बता, फिर मैं उसका सॉल्यूशन ढूंढता हूँ मैं.
Sir, please one more time open editor. Yeah sir, there's one fourth line.
फोर्थ लाइन, ठीक है.
Yeah.
क्या करना है इसमें?
Output table.
अच्छा, इसका आउटपुट टेबल E001, E002, 180.
Okay, thank you sir.
ठीक है. अरे मैं भेज दूंगा ये डेमो टेबल का, ये जो तीनों डेटाबेस है ना, मैं भेज देता हूँ तुम्हें. तुम बस सीधे के सीधे वो इंपोर्ट कर सकते हो. लाइक हाउ यू हैव टू इंपोर्ट सर्टेन टेबल्स यू ऑलरेडी नो फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस लेक्चर्स, राइट? देयर इज अ वीडियो फॉर दैट. तो मैं डेमो टेबल्स का एक्सपोर्ट तुम्हें भेज देता हूँ. यू कैन जस्ट इंपोर्ट ऑल द डेटा टेबल्स, एंड द नेक्स्ट क्लास विल बी डिस्कसिंग व्हाटएवर वी लाइक could not discuss today, okay, because it's already 10:30. Okay,
Just one question. What was the assignment for the product?
product assignment group में share तो किया हुआ था यार. Like there were 3 company name mentioned, and you had to go for a user journey and pain points and stuff like that.
Okay, I will see that.
Okay, तो वो भी important है भाई. Next class में वो discuss होने वाला है. So again, that has to be in a document format. No scanning, no PDF. Why document? I'll tell you later, because you have to submit the link. Okay, to submit the link, there will be a tracker sheet कि कौन कौन assignment submit कर रहा है, कौन कौन नहीं कर रहा है, because this is not going to be taken lightly यार. Like submitting assignment, it has to be imperative. Okay, So again in the Google Doc format, and you have to submit the link in the group. Keep that Google Doc private, where only crackingproduct@gmail.com has the access, and obviously alongside you, so no one else can open it. Okay. निखिल तू भी कुछ बोल रहा था यार?
हाँ वही मतलब असाइनमेंट क्या था प्रोडक्ट का, वो दिख नहीं रहा ग्रुप में।
ठीक है I'll resend यार, I'll resend. एक बार तू देख ले, नहीं मिलता है तो मेरे को पिंग कर, I'll resend. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there is any in the group. मेरे को भी नहीं पता था सिस्टम।
क्या बात कर रहा है? चल ठीक है, ये सब हाउसकीपिंग आइटम है, मैं इसका देख लूँगा, ठीक है? If not, I'll make sure that it is reshared again. If there is no other issue, I think we can call it off. चलेगा? Cool guys, चलो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट क्लास में. Bye.
Bye guys.